Welcome back to Lone Oak Farm 17 for episode 28 with me, MrSealyp. I've just had a lovely cup of coffee in a Frontier Design mug. Pretty cool. It was so much more comfortable in here. Lovely and warm last night. Fantastic. So, we have got work to do. We need to go now. Whereas normally I just come down the stairs and off we go. I've now actually got to go up to the office. Which am I going? I'm not too sure. We'll go this way. Hop the fence. Cows all seem, wow, they're all coming out. They all seem very happy. Fantastic. Right, so yeah, we're going to check the job sheet. As you've already seen, I went round and I did an absolute load of grass cutting with the forage harvester. I pretty much cut everything that was available to be cut, and I made a bit of a mistake because it was getting very, very dark here. I decided what I would do was buy a set of the manure shop lights to put here over the bunker silo, which, as you can see, work really, really well. It was perfect for bringing out the chaff, putting into the bunker silo and leveling it all out. However, when I put them, as you place them, they place this side. Then you go to the little symbol, you click on it, and it splits them into their 4 or their 8 or however many you've chosen to do. But in splitting them, it put them 2 in this wall and 2 in this wall. So I suddenly thought, oh, I can't remember how you turn them on and off. And then I remembered there's a switch on this front post here, but I couldn't get to it. Stupidly, I came over here, and rather than thinking to myself, oh yeah, light switches are normally circle, I pressed various different buttons and accidentally pressed L3 and blanketed the silo. Now, I had every intention of putting an absolute load in here, and it blanketed with about 184,000 litres in here. And I still had loads more to cut. Problem was, it was showing as rain. I wanted to get as much done as I could before the rain came, and I worked through till very, very late. I think it was circle in the end. It's on this front one. If I press circle now, please work. There we go. Lights go off. So if everyone needs to do anything here at the bunker silo, that works very, very well. So the money dropped a little bit because I made that minor mistake. I carried on and I put all the rest of what I cut over in the bunker silo at the BGA. And in that one, I think I've got about 485,000 litres. So between the two, knocking on 600 and something thousand litres. Plus what I've got in storage. So we're going to be fine for silage. Now, as you can see, top right hand corner, the money has gone up dramatically. And as you've already seen, I leased the Scorpion King. And I thought, you know what? It's winter. I'm not going to waste any time. I said I was going to pay back the loan to the boss. So I started last night. I worked through till just before 4 in the morning and went to bed. What I'm intending to do this morning is check the job sheet, and then we're going to pay a chunk off the loan to start off with. So, close. There we go. So let's check the job sheet, as we always do. Not as bright light beaming through here, but the sun didn't come up till 7:50 something. So, right, so let's have a look. So scanning down here straight away, most of our jobs from yesterday got done. Poplars, obviously we didn't get done. Mowing contracts, there's a question mark against that. There's no grass to mow. We can't do anything about that now till spring. That's going to have to move over. Poplars has moved over onto today. We are on Wednesday. So, top of the sheet, sugar beet to gypsums. We've got a surplus and they've asked if we can have a load. Hay to Gann Farms, that's a contract for Gann Farms. They wanted 70,000 litres. We're going to take that down to the BGA. Collect sheep from Agilvies. Oh yeah, Wool and Dye Ranch. That's part of the contract from Big Papa C and Farmer Eric. That's from Big Mama A as well. We're not actually going to Agilvies Wool and Dye Ranch. We're just collecting the sheep that they've sent to us. Pay chunk of loan. Yep. Logging. We've got a few contracts to do. Deliveries. There's going to be a few different things. We're going to be delivering manure and slurry and a couple of other bits and bobs. And we've also got a hunting lodge contract from Carlos. Then when we get to that, I'll explain that in more detail. So we've got a few bits to do for today. Some of that may well move over into Thursday. Some of the logging contracts may be the hunting lodge one. I'm trying to think what we can get done. Plus we need to carry on making a bit of money to pay off the rest of the loan. So yeah, okay, cool. Right, we have some deliveries to do. I was offered, Gypsum's contacted me because I had all that surplus sugar beet. They're offering to take a load off my hand for 20 sheep, which is brilliant. I'm not knocking that. I renegotiated a few of the terms, although Big Papa C did come back to me, and Ogilvy's Wool and Dye came back to me and said that to look after, they've done a lot of research. Big Daddy did a load of research, and he came back to me and said, because they've offered me a contract as well, which I'm going to have to get into at some point, that to look after that many animals and for all the work I've done, it was worth what they were offering. I've got to find some middle ground. So the middle ground is that I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. I need to go down to the store because I need to pick up 25 sheep that are coming from Big Papa C. They will go to the sheep farm, obviously. I've then got, that's right, I've got, if we check in the menu, we have got pigs wise, we've got 135. 125 of them are ours. So 10 we can sell at 3,000 a piece, going to Barris for part of the contract with Barris and Taco Farmer, which means that'll be another 30,000 coming back into the bank account. I think we've sold, when we sell those 10, we'll have sold 18 pigs. So we haven't done too bad, actually, off the hogs this year, which is fantastic. So all the health is all climbing up. I'm going to need to get some feed and water for various different animals, but they're not on yellow or orange or anything yet, so I'm fine for the time being. As I've said a few times before, if you're new to this, subscriber contracts, people send them in to me, I do jobs for them, we negotiate a fee, and I have been accepting I've been accepting higher fees than I really should have done for the jobs I've been doing. That said, start of the season, back in spring, last spring, I did a load of logging, wood chipping, to make enough money to buy machinery. I also took out a huge loan, which I think some people have forgotten, in that they're saying, you've got loads of new machinery, it's ridiculous, where would you got it from? We extended our loan out to 1,010,000. That paid for a lot of that machinery. We did get some good deals on it, but that paid for it. There was nothing dodgy. So what we're going to do now is repay. Not all of it, obviously, but we're going to pay a big chunk. So the plan is, I think I'm going to repay about 500,000. So it should bring me down to 510,000. And obviously our finances will drop, and we should be back to around where we were. The whole point was the logging I was doing overnight was just to pay off the loan. I might have a little bit more. I think I might have done a few more trees than I needed to do. What I also did in that process, what's the loan down to? 35, 30, 25, 20. There we go. So we've paid off 500,000. 500,000. Awesome. I'm really happy with that. That's half of the loan. Just about half of the loan paid off after one night. And don't get me wrong, that took some time. This is not me doing a dodgy. This is not me, adding money in on the XML files. So what I'm going to do now is show you a couple of screenshots I took. And again, this is just I'm just backing up what I'm saying, so people don't watch and think, oh, he's just, he's playing the game and he's mucking about with it all. Okay, the first screen will tell you what I started off on with the time that it's got on there. When I started doing the login overnight. The next one will then show you, hopefully if I've got the right ones saved, it will show you how many logs I've done. I did 6 contracts. I did some spraying on people's fields as well. So there's 6 contracts, in-game ones, not subscriber ones. And then how many trees I cut down in that session. I think I did about 70, I think. So I'll show you those now. So this is 1:33 in the morning. I've finished doing all the grass. It's rained, everything's wet. And I've done a couple of contracts for, I think I might have done all the contracts by now, and we're at 334,000. So that's where we're starting for doing our logging. So at the start of this, you can now see down the very bottom it says missions completed, and it says 6. That's the 6 jobs I did for various different farmers spraying fields. Just above that it says trees cut down. This session says 0 because I haven't started yet. Trees cut down to date so far is 372. So this is my starting point. I've just leased the Scorpion King and I'm about to start logging. So the only row to really pay attention to now is the trees cut down one. That's now saying 70 with my total trees cut down at 442. Some of those trees, like I said, I was making about, I think, about 11,000, just over 11,000, the tall ones. The shorter ones just over 7,000. If you average that out to about 9,000 per tree over all the ones I cut, I think I made about $630,000. Obviously, a chunk of that went on selling and rebuying the wood chipper and moving that, which I'll explain a little bit later on. And then I've got a little bit left over, I think. But that's how it worked out. 70 trees at about 9,000. That's where the money's come from. So I'm up at 368,000. I have got animals to collect. I've got a contract that was given to me by Gan Farms. Let me just lose the help window. By Gan Farms, and the one for Gan Farms was for they needed hay, and that's what I said. They were from Missouri, bad drought, the grass and hay, they were really struggling and they were short. So could I provide them with 2 loads? One of those loads was very, very kindly supplied by Farmer Pierce, who's at Millstone Farm, and Millstone Farm is south. As you go over the rise, pretty much in line with the Lone Oak, and keep going, there's a farm out on that southern edge of the field, the farm. That's Millstone Farm. So he has delivered 70,000 litres down to the BGA already. I'm now going to send 70,000 litres down as well, and they've said they're going to give us some, I think it was sheep, or was it hogs? I think it's sheep for that. Now, some of the contracts I've done have been, some of the prices were a little bit steep, but realistically, in a real world situation, yes, I get it, a bale or whatever, whatever it is I'm selling or transferring or money, whatever it might be. When someone's desperate and they're in serious need and there's a risk of animals dying or crops failing or the farm going under, people in those kind of times of crisis and need will pay and often do pay over the odds for something because they're desperate for it. And that's why I kind of probably felt a bit bad, because I felt like I'd ripped people off and that kind of stuff. So that was kind of the reason for the rebates, and you know why I'm trying to do it a little bit more realistically. This is by no means a realistic farming series. You know, it's as realistic as I can get it. Well, I suppose I could get it more realistic. I hope yeah, I should still. I have got enough to get me through. And to be fair, I've got grass, so I could always, if I needed to, get some grass out, ted it, and then reload it. I suppose I could do that. So 70,000 litres, this is going to go down to the BGA. With the 70,000 litres from Farmer Pierce, that should sort out Farmer Gann. That should be them done. And we should get some more sheep out of that. I have got some more sheep coming in various different stages. Like I say, we've got 25 we're going to collect now. Those are from Big Papa C. I'll have 20 coming from Farmer Gann for the 70,000 litres of hay. And then I'm going to have some more coming because I've got a contract from Big Daddy, which I'll need to explain. But that's not going to be, probably not in this episode, I don't think. Probably not even today. Let's cover that. And I'm going to get down to the BGA. We'll drop this off. And then I'll collect the sheep, take those to the sheep farm. It's winter, there's not a lot of field work I can do. There's a few delivery bits. I'm going to do some logging contracts, as you've already seen on the job sheet. I've got some logging to do, and I've got 2 or 3 different logging contracts. But again, the scenery has changed dramatically. You know, we've lost those autumn colours, the trees all looking very bare. You can imagine now it's going to get quite bleak. Temperatures have dropped, ground's freezing. You know, it's winter. I'm going to stop and pick up the eggs. Part of my contract for gypsians, my original contract for gypsians, was for 500 eggs. I don't even think, I think I'm on 90 odd. And I think with what's here is going to take me maybe to 100. So I don't know how long I'd have to play this for to get 500 eggs, but you know, I'll do the best I can. Get as many as I can anyway. We might get somewhere in that region, but I don't think we're going to get 500. We shall see. So as I pull into the beach, oh there we go. Now it's really weird, when I was here last night, there were 4 cars parked up here, and I assume they were for workers, and they're gone now. I certainly didn't dream it. Right, so here we have, this is the trailer from Farmer Pierce. That's got 70,000 litres in. My concern, and I do need to check this, my concern is that potentially, because I'm not too sure what time it was dropped off, that could have lost some overnight, just some thought. I hope not. Let's make sure I don't catch the tanker. Nice, okay. We'll pull that up alongside. That's 140,000 litres for Gann Farm, so I hope it's enough, and I hope it sorts them out of a problem, bit of a bind they find themselves in. So what I will do is unhook, then I'll hook up to the other trailer just to make sure. I think it says 70,000. I hope it does. And that's about being a good citizen, about being a good... I know he's paying me, he's going to give me some sheep, but helping out. Yep, 70,000 litres, take the cover off. Hey, fantastic. Cover back on. Nice. Right, that's that bit done. So as you can see as well, like I said, all the rest of the grass I cut yesterday, or last night, is in the bunker silo here. I'm sure it was about 485,000 I had in here. Obviously it won't tell me. If I put the help window on, it will just tell me that how far through fermenting it is, which isn't going to give me much more information than that. So what we do now is go around to the livestock market, grab the sheep, and take those to the sheep farm. I'm so pleased we paid off a big chunk of that loan, you know. I know I said when we did the episode, that loan note where we borrowed from the bank, and I said I'd pay it back. I really was concerned I wouldn't be able to, or I wouldn't get enough of it done. Now I was offered some contracts by different people for me to deliver various different things. and one was to deliver slurry and manure, and they would pay off the loan, which was over $1 million. And again, it kind of came into that category. Where am I going? I'm going to the sheep farm without the sheep. That's not the best idea, is it really? Yeah, so and in my head I thought it's a bit steep, it's a lot of money. I am still going to do a contract for those guys, and I'm still going to deliver some slurry and some manure for them, because over these winter months it's going to be logging, it's going to be wood chipping, it's going to be various different deliveries of things. That's what we can do in the winter. We can't do any field work. I have been asked for some bales, which I may well have to do in spring, although I have got stuff, like I say, in storage, so I could get some out of storage, spread it on the ground with a loading wagon, and then bale it. So I could provide some bales. Check and see how much I've got on hand. I could do. It's an idea anyway. What you will see as well, I'll show you when we get there. This is all kind of worked out. I'm kind of following a route round, and it actually is going to help me. I'm going to show you on the map screen as well in a minute the fields I did last night. I did some contracts for other farmers, spraying fields and things, which is going to bring me on something else I need to talk about, which is going to be a kind of throw it out there to the subscribers and see what you guys think type of situation. And am I going to get around here? I did before, didn't I? Right, let's swing that in there and see how we get on. It might be a little bit tight. How did I do this before? I'm not sure. Right, that will do for a minute, and I can open the gates. Okay, so 25 going in, which means I'm going to need to do some more feed. Unload. Confirm. Excellent, another 25 in. Now, the sheep up till now, I say costing me money, in so much as most of them have been payments for contracts. I think we did buy one load, didn't we? But all the hay and the grass and the water we've supplied them with, the water hasn't cost us anything, but obviously the liquid trans container did. They haven't started producing anything yet, so all the sheep I've got so far, I'm feeding them and have been feeding them, but they're not producing wool yet, so they're kind of effectively costing me money in a way at the moment. Actually, I meant to leave it open, didn't I? Oh, that's what I was going to show you. Sorry, yeah. My logging from last night, because I did it all in the dark. Let's just pop down the side of the house, and you can see already it's all looking a bit bare behind here. We're opening up a little bit behind, so we've got a nice view out across the countryside, kind of. And you'll see just by the tree stumps just how much I cut, and it was a lot. If we get up onto one of these hillocks here, you can see all the tree stumps going off across there, and from here as well. And I did what I usually do, and I was very, very lucky in that now, because we're in winter, the very tall trees are paying. They were paying about 11,000 per tree. The smaller ones that are kind of along the sides were paying about 7. So it was averaging out around 9,000, I guess. That's kind of how we made our money. But you can just see by all the tree stumps how much logging I did last night. And what I do is I started off way back there with the placeable wood chipper placed all the way back there. And as I kind of cut my way forward, and I find I'm spending a lot of time going backwards and forwards, I sell it, and obviously I only get half the money back for it. I replace it further up, then buy it again. After 2 or 3 trees, you've repaid for it again, that's not a problem. Then I cut forward again. When I get to a point again where I'm going too far backwards and forwards, I sell it. I rebuy it and replace it, and I just keep that process moving forward. So I'm not wasting time travelling backwards and forwards to the wood chipper. And when the price is good on trees, that's an easy thing to do. Right. Open the gates. Let's back this in. And then we should be right for driving out. Trailer can go back down to livestock market. Oh, we'll stop the engine there actually. So now we need to get some bales in there. and hopefully by the end of this episode I've done the hay for Farmer Gan, that's done. Oh, sugar beet for gypsums. I need to transport some sugar beet up to Lone Wolf. There's a little shelter thing up there now, and we should be okay to take a load up there for gypsums. Right, what I'm going to do is just put that to one side. There, now it was suggested to me by, and I can't remember who it was, it might have been Carlos. I'm trying to remember who it was, I'm really sorry that I've forgotten. About the CSZ pack. I remember the CSZ pack did there was like an update a while back, and it said about auto load forks, and I couldn't work out where the auto load forks were, because if you go into the front loader attachments, which are all here, and you've got the CSZ pack, which I've downloaded here, has all the different attachments, and if you go to wheel loaders, which is what I'm using, you've got the CSZ stuff for the wheel loaders all in here, and I couldn't figure out how that worked. And that's when I was told, if you go to baling technology and scroll across, the CSZ stuff is all in here, and these in this section are auto load ones, which I didn't know. Only downside is they can't be used in conventional mode, which is a little bit of a downer, and you'll see what I mean. I think one of the piles already gone, hasn't it? Yeah. So when I come to pick up the bales, put the forks in, it won't go into them. It works like the auto load trailer, which is a minor frustration, I'll be honest. But if I put it on, is it that mode? No. There we go. If you put it on the mode like you do with the auto load trailer, it automatically stacks 3. But the problem is, it's like the auto load trailer, in for all intents and purposes, while they're on those forks, they kind of don't exist until you come to unload them. So whilst the forks are handy and they're great for doing 3 bales at a time, I think, in all honesty, I'd rather load them manually. This will be great for stacking trailers and stuff like that, being able to pick up 3 bales at a time and stacking trailers, but for doing like feed for the animals, I'm not sure it's my cup of tea. So we might well change that. If you notice now as well, it won't take them off the forks because they kind of, it's reading that they don't exist. If I now do, I think it's unload, yeah, L1 and triangle, and it unloads them, then all of a sudden they become kind of real bales again. So I don't know, I'm in two minds over that. I like the concept, and I think in certain situations they're going to save a lot of time and be very, very easy to use. But for feeding the animals, I don't mind doing a bale at a time or stacking them manually or whatever I want to do. So we'll just check that. How are we looking? Hay and grass. We'll probably get away one more bale, but that's the problem. I can't do 1 bale. This will pick up 3. So I'm thinking maybe swapping these out for some standard bale forks. But at the moment, the sheep are okay. What I am going to do is, there we go, fold those away again. I'm going to put them down here. We may take them back and replace them for standard ones. I don't know. We shall see. But that's sheep done. We will do some pig food. Again, whether that's on screen or off screen, I don't know yet. So I apologise if the start of this video has been kind of just throwing loads of facts and figures and numbers and things at you, and if you're one of those people who like to follow along with the finances and try and work out overnight, that would have completely confused everything. Like I say, because we did 6 contracts for farmers locally, we made a little bit of money, then it got to midnight, we lost a chunk of money, then I did a load of logging, so the numbers are all over the place. Needless to say, I think we're a little bit up on where we were. I think we were on 334,000 when I started logging, and then having paid off a big chunk of the loan, we're down to 368. So we've done all right. We're not struggling. Oh, pigs! That's what I was going to do. Hogs. I need to go and get the hogs from the hog farm, and we've got to take them back to the diner for Barris and Taco Farmer for their contract. So on my drive over, like I say, I think what kind of stands out the most is when the grass goes back to that kind of very bare state in the winter time. It really does give it that bleak feel to everything. Which brings me on to the point I was going to talk about, and the kind of subscriber reaction. What do you guys think? It has been suggested that I switch over to the Oregon Geo, which would fit this map perfectly because it's Oregon. My concern was and is that when you put a Geo on, especially when you start seasons as well, it resets everything back to its original state. Now, whilst all of my fields have been cultivated, they have been slurry spread, they've been ploughed, everything's ready to go, there are plenty of fields on this map which have got crops in already that the farmers started doing in autumn, which should be ready to harvest earlier next year. My worry is this: if I do the Seasons Geo for Oregon, if that resets everything, for example this field here right in front of me, which is field number 8, field number 8, if that goes back to its original standard field state, those crops will no longer be in it. And I mentioned in an episode, last episode or the one before, about we were thinking of buying a couple of fields, and probably ones with canola oilseed rape in. If they revert back to their original state, then we won't have any early crop. So here's my big dilemma. Do I bite the bullet, do the Seasons Geo for Oregon, because apparently in the winter it makes no difference because everything's barren anyway, or do I not, because I risk losing the crops that are all in the ground? What do you guys think? I know people say to me, do what you want to do, it's your Let's Play. I'm just curious, what do people think I should do? If it was your map, what would you do? I'm just, don't know, I'm in kind of two minds. I could take it or leave it, I really don't mind either way. I don't know how much benefit there is from having the Seasons Geo for Oregon, whether it will have much impact on the actual season, whether I can do a second planting in 1 year. I don't know if it allows for that. I really don't know. That's kind of the question really. I'm not entirely sure. So the other thing about doing this now is, because we're going to take 10 hogs out of here to go down to the diner so that Taco Farmer can make his bacon tacos, that should mean actually that the feed situation, 10 going in, confirm, should have changed because we've taken 10 hogs out. So if we just scroll across, that doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. I suppose it acts differently to how it does on without seasons on. Anyway, never mind. Right, so these are now going to go down to the diner. I'll turn around across here, it's fine. Oh, that's what I was going to show you, wasn't I? The map. I'm trying to make sure I get everything in that I was going to talk about. I know the episodes leading up to this have been very subscriber contract heavy, and they were because I had a lot of subscriber contracts that were related to crops and things that people had asked me for. So the harvest was full on. There were contracts coming out of my ears. I've now got 3 or 4 lumber and wood chipping contracts. I've got a couple of delivery contracts to do, but it should thin out a little bit moving into spring for next year. So hopefully it won't be as kind of full on. So I know if you're new to this and you're new to my channel, you probably haven't got a clue what's happening, and I apologise for that. So let's have a look in here. So if we go to growth, you look around the map now, all these fields that are green or slightly darker green are all fields that other farmers have pre-seeded at the end of autumn. What I did was then went around, if we go to soil composition and take that off, you'll see that I went and I did field 40 I sprayed, field 51 I did, which didn't belong to me, field 33 I did, field 21 I did, field 12 I did, field 4 I did, was that 6 of them? I think so. And a couple of those it was pouring with rain and it was dark and I could barely see what I was doing. But I thought if we were thinking of buying a field, I need to do the contracts on them so that when we do buy them and we then get round into spring next year and then summer and then towards harvest again, they will have all the fertiliser states on rather than just one. So I was thinking ahead. So that kind of feeds into my thoughts about do I do the Seasons Geo? Because if that knocks all of those back to just nothing in them again, I don't know if it's just take a punt, have a go, put the Geo on and hope for the best. Anyway, right, this is going back. This is going to go to the diner. And then, as I said when I did this before, as part of the contract, what happens is Barris has organised the whole situation. Oh, I want to point out, I made an error the other day when I said that Barris had already paid us and had given us the fields. He hasn't given us fields 50 and 1. We are able to use them. They are still owned. By Barris. They're not mine. I haven't been given them. Barris was very, very clear about that in the message I got. The payment was supposed to be the New Holland forage harvester, but even that I still felt it was very generous, and that's why I paid him 200,000 back on that. So technically we bought it, but we got it reduced, and that was kind of the deal. So yeah, those fields are Barris's, they're not mine. Just want to, for my legal team, just to make sure, you know, we're not saying or doing anything that we shouldn't be. Don't want to get taken to court over it. So let's take this in. So yeah, so what will happen is the guys here at the diner process them, sort them. They then get sent over to Taco Farmer at the taco stall, and then he sells them as bacon tacos. Right, nearly back at the farm. We need to do the job for Gypsum's, delivering the sugar beet. What I'm going to do is part this up, because one of the other things I said we definitely need to make sure we do throughout the winter is servicing and maintenance on our vehicles. We cannot take the chance of getting a hefty bill. So actually what we'll do, let's go in here. So the forage harvester from last night was bought in. Let's get it open. And that's done a lot of work. How many hours have we got on this so far? 8 and a bit hours. So I suppose you multiply that up to kind of real life working terms. Repair 1,247. Yeah, that's the most I've paid now. It is going up gradually with various different vehicles as I bring them in. I haven't done the harvester yet, have I? Or did I? I don't think I did. Okay, well that's that done. Well, at least it's sorted. It's not going to be horrendous. So that can now be put away. So this needs to go in front of or next to the header. We'll put it in front of, no, behind, whichever way you look at it. That was terribly lined up. That's better. Engine off. Okay, right, that's that. So, I don't know whether to take the harvester. I suppose I should really. I think these I did both of already. The truck we haven't had very long, so it shouldn't be too bad. I don't know whether this will go in. Should go in with these wheels. It's going to be interesting again. That's what I could do actually. Is rather than reverse, just using my mirrors and try and get to the door, I could just go out this way. It's a bit dodgy, but makes life a little bit easier. Will I get between those two posts? Should do. Fantastic. Right. I think what I do need to start doing is closing these doors after me. Now we're in winter, it's going to start getting really cold inside these buildings. So it makes more sense to have them closed. Right, let's take this in. I dread to think. This has got 9 hours on it. Yeah, this thing was just abused through the harvest season. Repair. Yeah, needs to be done. I'm just thinking, do we try and go back to, let's have a look. Customise. Got front twins, standard. Don't want crawler tracks at the moment. What's it for standards? Cool. Makes it a little bit narrower. We'll see how we go. We might go back to twins again. We will see how we get on. This isn't going to be needed now. This is going to be mothballed now until next harvest, really. So, yeah. Needed to do the maintenance on it. Get it done. Awesome. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything done. Now I need to grab the Penta trailer, one of the tractors. I think we'll go with the... I think the challenge is going to be a bit over the top for what we need to do. I'm trying to do a lot more, or trying to do more, not necessarily a lot more, trying to balance between in-cab and out-of-cab. Because I do tend to do a lot out of, and I do enjoy doing it in cab, but I'm also very conscious of the fact it's nice to see the scenery and the map. If you spend your whole time doing it in cab, you don't really get to experience the full, you know, the beauty of a map. I think is probably the best way of putting it. Right, where did I leave the Penta? Over at the pig farm. We'll go over to the pig farm. We'll feed the hogs, and then we'll. Take the sugar beet over to Lone Wolf store, ready for collection by Gibsons. And I'm not sure how we're doing time wise actually, but this is all it. This is the winter jobs, you know, feeding the animals, making sure everything's, all the upkeep's done on the vehicles, maintenance is done, any other contracts, you know, that need to be ticking along. Oh, poplars! I forgot about the poplars. Can we? I'm sure we can seed, we can plant poplars anytime, the same as grass. And hang on, let's just have a quick look. Down the bottom. Yeah, poplars. Oh no. Oh man. Oh, I've missed it. You can harvest them, but you can't plant them. Why did I think you could do that all year? Never mind. With this 50,000 litres of sugar beet in tow in the Penta trailer, we are fulfilling the contract, an extra contract that Gibsons asked me for, because we had surplus. We had 148,000 litres and we don't need that much for the hogs. I think in return for this we're going to get 20 sheep, I think. That's what we'll do. So I'll hook that here. And this is obviously our staging point where people come to collect their goods. And we've come to the end of another episode. We've got lumber and logging and wood chipping to do. We've got more deliveries coming. We've got winter jobs, looking after the animals, making sure the farm runs smoothly. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.